Good evening, people. Welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. Well, my guest today is Randall Jennings and Cedric Ruffin, family member of the Ruffin, David Ruffin and Jimmy Ruffin. Yeah, that's right. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How you doing? Everything good?
Yeah, we're doing good. I see you prepared for that coronavirus.
Yes, I'm trying to stay.
He made me go get my mask, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay
I know I'm coming
free.
through without it.
Yeah. How are you doing, Randall? Today?
I'm good, brother.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Cedric, the reason why you're here today, you said you wanted to get some shout outs, so why don't we just go ahead on and get that out the way?
Yeah, when Randall was coming in, I was telling him, I said, man, I'm going to be in the presence of two of my mentors. Well, I had three that I thought that was like really exceptional when it comes to education and academia and bringing data. And put Mr. Bill was one on rest in peace. But Mr. Bill, Gray, and Randall, in my opinion, are three of the most smartest black men to come out of Meridian, Mississippi.
Well, I
And,
appreciate it
y'all
too.
have inspired me,
Yeah.
and I was telling him, when I first met y'all, I entered into the teaching profession.
Yeah.
It was about 14 years ago.
Yeah, and I was very supportive of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I've always been an advocate of education, higher education. Education is something no one can take from you.
Yes.
I don't care what you do in life. Once you educate yourself and you learn something, Randall, can't nobody take it from you.
They said that's the one thing that you can acquire no man can take from you.
Okay.
The value of the education system given to you can't be taken because they take your degree away. They can take the paper away.
They can take the paper away.
But if you've been a student,
That's
Yeah.
right.
you've paid attention to it.
Yeah.
They can't take what you've acquired
Yeah,
in
but-
your mind.
That's right.
But in our society, though, they can refuse. Since if we don't own a lot of stuff, they can refuse to give you a job.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and that's
Doesn't
what we
mean
have
what
to.
you don't know.
Yeah, you can know, but
And I like to say this about that. It doesn't bother me when they refuse. That's what motivated me and helped me be all I could be. The reason why I'm independent and self-employed because of that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can remember when I got out of the military, we got a 10% preference, and so certain jobs were set aside for us. But when I went on a lot of the jobs, I was overqualified. Now, I didn't even have a college education then.
Yeah,
I had
okay.
1 year of college.
Really?
With 1 year of college in 1974, 75, I was overqualified. Wow.
Yeah.
Is it such a thing?
I came home in 06 overqualified.
Isn't that something?
And still overqualified.
Still
Yeah,
overqualified. It seems like that's what we should advocate, overqualification.
No, you said something the other day called grassroots.
Yeah, grassroots. We need that. We're going to have to get back to
Yeah,
that.
if you get the grassroots, you can stop all of this.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I'm going to say the name of my show today, hashtag Rita Jack
Yeah,
2021
yeah.
for mayor.
Grassroots.
Yeah. I think we can do that. And, since we're here, I have notes and everything. I know you got some things. I want to talk about baseball because you sent something to me. You sent a plan that you have. You also the cost of that plan. I definitely want to talk about that. I have some input that as you share with the audience, I have some input that I want to share also, but not just the baseball, but other things again. But baseball is definitely one of the things that I think that we need in this community that our children lack.
I get offended by just saying that I teach baseball. I bring baseball to the table. What I bring is the academic component of understanding how to be a youth that is developed. I want to say it again. What I understand is how a youth is developed through activities or sports. Baseball just happened to be the front runner because baseball has been a part of American fabric going all the way back to the 1800s. And so I don't get offended, but I also want people to understand it's more than just baseball.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's way more than just baseball because
Most certainly.
yeah, and that's what Brother Holt, that's what I'm trying to advocate to high level thinkers.
Well, I think we have a
They're
movement.
scared.
We have a movement now with George Floyd. Not in this country, Confederate flags, statues. They talking about renaming military. I did not know that Fort Bragg was named after Confederate general. I didn't know that Fort Benning was named, and I went to Fort Benning. I was stationed at Fort Benning. But I can tell you, I think I'm a proponent of change, and so. But I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about it as in putting things in perspective, like what's going on today with George Floyd, how something like this can help us. Now we know the answer to it, but how about sharing it with the people?
Well,
And it was money that you needed too. How much money would it take for you to get this program growing?
I shared with you all about $13,000 of redevelopment for the James Chaney Field and the walking trail behind my church.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any problem about the money. We could always use money, but I want to. If I'm going to be a financial contributor, I want to pay some of these young brothers and sisters who works with baseball, who work with softball, who can work with the younger ones. Mm-hmm. Because if we work with the younger ones, then we can make sure that they understand that there's an aspiration to the game of a health initiative, academic initiative to the game of baseball, that America has been neglecting the blacks from that game for a long time. It ain't because we can't play. Yeah. They made sure
and
we
they
didn't
make a lot
play.
of money too.
Now it is the highest paid sport in America.
Make a lot of money.
But that's not the issue. The issue is that you will learn how the capitalism principles work in America. You will learn how banking works in America. You will learn how to buy cars. You will learn how to buy a house. You will learn the basic understandings at an early
age.
I see that little.
Because you got to know statistics. You got to know ratio.
That too, because arithmetic is the word, Eddie.
Yeah.
Arithmetic is a word that we don't try to use anymore because some people who have decided to educate us have told us don't use arithmetic, use mathematics. They tell us use mathematics, and I'm saying, how can you get to math if you don't get arithmetic? Arithmetic is your basic study of understanding. It's adding, subtraction, multiplication, division, and percentages. That's what this thing are. That's what this thing is. And if we don't understand that has to go back to the beginning, that's why Dr. Carter cannot understand what's going on with our children, because she's got her academia hat on trying to go scholarly, and they are missing out on the one main thing, which is arithmetic, that most of our children, you don't have to stick that word into their brain. You can keep math in their brains, but give them arithmetic.
Well, go ahead.
It's, with baseball now, in football. Now I know the quarterback.
He's the smartest.
He's the smartest because you got to be very like a mastermind.
Right.
Very thinking out stuff.
Right.
Thinking 3 steps ahead.
Right.
Do you think? I mean, that should be important for our kids to learn as well. That particular position.
If you understand how a healthy initiative development of a child is, if you understand that, then you'll understand how the sports are supposed to be played according to the way the school development is. The school develops our children doing seasonal. Spring being training, summer being baseball, fall being flag football or football, and winter being basketball. That has not changed. And if you pay attention to our Caucasian brothers and sisters, they don't get out of that order. We're the one, when he come out the womb, Eddie, they put a basketball in his hand. When he come out the womb, they put a football in his hand. Man, that boy gonna miss all kind of academic enhancement because you got him 6 months, 6 months. You got him 6 months basketball, 6 months football.
Right.
And they're leaving out the one aspect of the game, which is the game of baseball. Yeah. So to answer your question, I like what we've been given with the opportunity called the East Coast Sox. The East Coast Sox is a travel ball initiative that the Park and Recreation decided to sign a 3-year agreement for them to be in our community. I was out there today. Okay. If you go out to QV Sykes, it's 192 teams. It's 192 players. Wow. Came through last week on over 190 players. And what I'm saying is that 90% of them were white. Does that mean that the whites are the only one understand baseball? No, they're the only one being taught. Yeah. Because remember now, you don't have to be taught, Cedric, you don't have to be taught baseball. I mean, you don't have to be taught football. You don't have to be taught basketball. You have to be taught baseball.
Okay.
Because it's a dynamic in it. You might not even know what 90 yards is. That's 90 feet this way, 90 feet this way, 90 feet this way, and 90 feet back home. And I asked that little boy out there. You ask him what a 360 is? He'll jump all the way, he'll go all the way around, because he knows what it is. Well, baseball is nothing but a 360. A home run is nothing but a 360 because he got to go to first, second, third, and and home.
Randall, this is all good. It's time. Now, I want to tie in what I want to talk about today, not just George Floyd, but what's going on in our communities with Lieutenant Jacks and with our current mayor, current chief of police, this administration and this community. One of the things that let me just tell you, I start out by saying what I read in the papers today. I read in the papers today where I think they have $347,000 that they have not spent yet to repair Frank Cochran. Right. And then they have the insurance money. And they have $200,000 set aside, meaning that, I think they call it residual holdback, meaning that once they do the repairs, they'll get an additional $200,000. Now, granted, that's over $500,000. The mayor, in turn, says that he will need another $1 million in order to improve that facilities and bring it up. Again, we're not talking about what we're doing for our children. They sit there most of the time anyway. And then when they have something there, there's nothing that's going to benefit our children or address the crime. But again, I'm going to say this to the governing authority. Don't let the mayor backdoor you again to bring his cronies in here to take another no-bid contract for $1 million so that he'll get most of that money put in his pocket and continue to enrich his lifestyle. So the answer to that is no. Leave the Frank Cochran like it is. Matter of fact, take that $500,000 and spend it on our children and help Randall Jennings get this basketball game, baseball game. Right. All three of them really. Right now he has a program for baseball. Right. But we need someone like you in our community to develop programs so that our children can be educated and learn the things, the different aspects of the different games that you're talking about that'll help our children be good, productive citizens.
There's rules and regulations to every activity in America. Yeah. And our kids can perform football and basketball but never know the rules.
Well, Randall, let's just say $13,000. Where are you going to get the money from?
Well, I'm working on some things as far as the $13,000.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you. I'm going to tell you where you're going to get it from. We already got it. Okay. We have this money already, people. Yeah. We have it already. All of our churches got this kind. We got a little small church, but we could give $1,000 and it wouldn't hurt us. It's churches that can give $10,000. It's churches in this community right here that can give $100,000 and it will not hurt them. Why should we leave this money in their banks to benefit them and their children while our children are being neglected and not getting anything? We don't have to ask them for anything. We don't need grant money. We don't need anything. We got it already. Let's use our money. It's coming from us. Let's take our money and use our money on our children in this community.
I came here today to add aboard what you're saying. At the same time, I listened to you on Tuesday about the Grassroot Initiatives. Grassroot means that you're going to involve the community. And that's what you're talking about.
That's right.
The community has to be engaged into where you're talking about taking us. And if you don't do it with the Grassroot Initiative, then you'll never get to that point. You're always having people come from the outside trying to tell you, I can do this, I can do better that. And they'll cipher off all your jobs, Brother Gray. And then somebody like Eddie, who's been teaching karate ever since he was a child, won't ever get a chance to be able to do it, because if he goes to the wrong people at the wrong time, asking for what he wants, they'll make sure he doesn't get it.
Let me tell you what I saw today that really, really upset me and bothered me a great deal. It made me sick to my stomach. Two Bell, how you doing? On 9th Avenue, Randall, Cedric. On 9th Avenue, they're redoing the tops in the so I imagine in public housing. I seen brand new Ford trucks there, white trucks. It's funny how white folks are in these trucks. I'm not talking about 2 doors. I'm talking about 4 doors, 4x4. I did not see one black employee. I'm just telling you the truth. This is a disgrace. This is a travesty in our community. Now, I love Ray for Wright, and I think he's done an excellent job. But there's something wrong with that. They have set up a system in place. I already know, because you got to have like $5 million worth of insurance. That's eliminating us. Right. You got to have workman comp. That's right. Eliminating us. Right. But then you got builders. You got Tool Belt can go and lay that roof. Tool Belt already be finished for a whole lot less money. So I think we got to, like Andy Griffin said, sometimes we can't go so much by the law. We got to go by the heart. We got to go by what's right. We need to put our people to work. I don't give a damn about any of that stuff. Tool Belt don't need $5 million worth of insurance. I don't need it either.
Government leaders are fooling ourselves. We don't think we can't work our people. We ain't working our people. We got people that can do everything that you just not talking about.
I know, and better.
And
it
better.
comes from us.
Right. And that's what you got to, that's where the fight is, brother, is that we got a system in here that don't know our history. That's grassroots.
That's right. And another thing too, if person can bring somebody out of Birmingham, Alabama with a no bid contract, explain to me why is it that you got all white builders and a majority. I ain't never seen all black folks working anywhere in all. I haven't seen that. You're not gonna see that. And you know what? It is time. We can no longer afford to sit idly by. We can no longer afford to take our money lockstep in place on Sunday and put it in those banks. It's okay. Keep it in those banks. But start taking it out. Let's get this program going. Let's start investing in our communities, in ourselves. There's no reason why our folks should have this high rate of mental illness. We have too much money and too many educated people. We got, well, how much education we got? Master's degree right here in different fields. Counseling right here. Education, but physical education too, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, so we have, hold up. I already know they're trying to keep you out and water you down. There's no way they're going to look what they did to me. I'm trying to make a difference. And the same you. Been ostracized. And that's where you come in. Now, Marie Franklin got a good heart, and she's talking about everything she's talking about. She's telling the truth. But the thing that Marie don't want to acknowledge, she hate for me to say that we got the money already, Randall. Why should we be going big? Dice man, why should we beg for money? I'm asking you. Two-Belt, why should we beg for money? We got it already. Don't we have it? I'm talking about we have how many, on Monday morning, how much money we put in white banks.
It is unquestionable.
It just does not make any sense for us to even be applying. TC has an excellent program. He's trying to give grant money. That's the first mistake. Because once you get money from them, they're going to control what you do.
Right.
We got the money already.
Father's Initiative.
We have it already.
Yeah.
Don't we have it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We have it, don't we?
We always had it. We've always had it. And we've understanding that John Roberts, Mayor Bland, is in a situation now where they're running almost lockstep to make sure that we don't get a chance to use any of those resources. I told y'all on this show the last time I was here. 1 and 5 is the only wards that are being taken care of. 2, 3, and 4. That's where we reside. That's where our children are residing. That's where our school children are residing. There is no initiative at all in wards 2, 3, and 4. And Kim Houston, I know I love you, sister, but you can cheer all you want to. If you don't spend any money on a kid that needs your services, you ain't done nothing but made a lot of noise.
Okay, well,
and so Eddie, you're right. I mean, the money's there. The money's been there.
It always has, but here the problem is that here's what I talked about today is that when the Cheney, Schroeder, and all of them, they were young folks, college folks, Stokely Carmichael. The young people have always implemented change and been at the forefront of things, except when you get to the religious community.
That's right.
When they get into the religious community and go into the churches, the old heads teach the young head. Hold up. Teach the young head how to act like them.
That's right.
It can't be like that. The young folks got to take over these churches and push the old head to the side respectfully and bring on a new paradigm, the way that you were doing it everywhere else in the community. We got to. We can no longer sit idly by. We sitting there, and they know it. They don't want us to wake up. Do you realize if we wake up and start spending our money on ourselves, what it'll do to our community, how to impact?
The most dangerous thing we have is the black church. The black church has been our backbone since the beginning of getting off that boat.
Yeah.
But our churches don't understand their way, and they're caught up in a situation where they're having the biggest hoop contest, have the biggest dismount contest, and forgetting all about the fact that Ray and JoJo and Mama and then Lisa, they all sitting out there on the outside saying, wait a minute, I need some clean socks, I need some clean underwear, I need some clean t-shirts, I need some deodorant, and I need some sanitary napkins. But you ain't paying no attention to them because you so busy trying to integrate yourself. The black church, I'm a proponent of it, I love it, and I love God.
Yeah, exactly.
But the style of the black church, I can't stand it because it's full of crowd.
It is, and
it's a lot of black churches in there.
I don't know whether I'm going to agree with you when you say the black church is the backbone of the black community.
Has been. I ain't said it is now. I said has been.
I can't even agree with that either.
Well, you have your opinion.
And I can state my reasoning, and I want to hear your reasoning. My reason is that we wouldn't be where we are now if they had been the backbone that they supposed to have been. Martin Luther King, they hated Martin Luther King. And we going way back to the 50s and 60s. So we can go back before them. Nate Turner. It wasn't Nate Turner, wasn't Dr. Nate Turner or Reverend Nate Turner. He was a radical. Marcus Garvey wasn't no preacher.
Right.
Reverend Al Sharpton don't impress me. He's not my leader.
Right.
Reverend Al Sharpton, all the bad things going on in this country, Reverend Al Sharpton jumped up there for a photo op like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I cannot, that's my reason for saying the churches, they have been a backbone for the white community because they taken that money and they put all that money in white banks where white banks go and build malls and shopping centers where we can't even go in. You can't even go in Village Fair Mall if you're under 18 and don't have a parent. So no, our money does not benefit us. So it is time. We can no longer sit out and about and let them use our money to our detriment. It is time for us. It's okay. Keep putting your money in the white banks. You don't have to send it to a black bank. It does not matter where the money is. It's what you do with that money. Yeah. Take that money and start spending it on your children in your community. That's right. So many of you have died. Some of the people, especially on the COVID-19, a lot of other members in your church, it's a couple in our church, will not be back. So they died with money going into that church but not benefiting our children. It's time for us to see our money be used on our children. I'm not a proponent of raising not one dime, but I am a proponent of getting money out of our church and spending it on our children instead of letting it sit in there and fixing the roof. I don't got wet. You know, when we went to school, we had them yellow raincoats. Right. When we got to school, we was wet. That's right. And we dried. So I don't mind getting wet. So I don't give a damn about the roof leaking. We need to fix our children, and we have that money. And you might not like what I'm saying. You might not like me. I don't give a damn. But you need to understand what I'm saying. It is time for you to get that money out of that bank and spend it on this community. Embrace brothers like Randall Jennings. Embrace brothers like TC. You need to embrace them. They have very good plans and very good ideas. I'm tired of money going to people like Ricky Hood. Ricky Hood, I have a lot of respect for you, but you ain't, look at all that. You know how long you've been in this community since Western Guard. Look at this and prayer. There's nothing wrong with prayer, but prayer without works ain't worth a damn.
The Boys and Girls Club is the proponent of the Republican Party. Ain't no need of you not fooling yourself, Eddie. The Republican Party controls the Boys and Girls Club. Always have, and probably always
with anything that's going it benefits certain. They pick leaders for us.
Right, they pick the leaders. Yeah. Right, they pick.
You know what? I have more respect for you than I have for any of the people that I done mentioned on this show. I'm just telling you, and Brother Cedric, and Brother Dice, and Brother TC. These here are real leaders I'm talking about. These are black men. These are strong black men that have ideas.
That's why I brought the word grassroots back, because I want you to understand, you don't know what you did on Tuesday. You picked a word out of your vernacular on how you wanted to choose that word. That word has some systemic meaning to it. Yeah. It has everything to understand where we are.
That's right.
We ain't grassroots. We implement it.
That's
everything
right.
out here that's in leadership is implemented, from Ron Turner,
that's right,
Percy Bland, Amy Carter, Victor Hood, Ricky Hood. I mean, Victor Hubbard.
Yeah.
All these are implements.
Implement that have one idea and one goal to promote
like a title,
to promote white superiority, to keep us oppressed.
Right,
I'm just telling you.
They like titles.
They love titles. They
like titles and resources. Yeah. And remember now, Ricky Hood has blessed. His family has been blessed. And I'm talking about Ron Turner's family has been blessed. Ron's got a son at Rutgers playing football. Both his other children graduated from Alcorn. Ron Turner has benefited from giving a title and resources.
That's right.
The resources you just said, we got it.
We got it.
We gave it. We're giving it to people like Personnel.
Yeah. And we can no longer do that.
Let me jump in
Go
and
ahead.
say this. It's two groups in our community that have power that don't use it.
Don't use it. Don't say it.
I say that those two groups are the church, and our women.
He didn't never let me get to my point. I didn't disagree with him because I heard him. But you're right.
Right. I don't have time to break it down on one show, but two groups, y'all just remember that have power within our community that don't use it. That's the church and our women.
And they both of them are against us.
They're synonymous. They're the same group.
Most of women go to church.
They are churchgoers. But here's what I want you to understand. Our women, I love y'all with all the passion and fire that I could think of. Because Eddie, you and I watched you a long time ago chasing that charge or whatever you were driving back in the day.
That's right.
But I'm using this as an example. They have raised up to the point where they're giving our women titles and a salary. And they're thinking that they can do this thing without us. And you cannot, sister.
There's no way. There's no way you can.
You got, look, I throw this out there and then you can switch to another subject. You got 22 male leaders in the county and a male superintendent and they're AB school. We got 14 females and a superintendent female and we're DL school. How you gonna figure that one's supposed to work?
It just won't work.
It won't work, Eddie.
Yeah. And we just gotta do something different. And I'm just going. I mean, it's just that we gotta get our people to vote too. Around how we gonna get them to vote?
Now I'm glad you brought that up now because here's your voting population. Although we got an older group and they're getting older every day
and dying.
But then your foundation comes from what comes out of your schools. You averaging 600 ninth graders per year at Meridian Public School District, black. But you ain't graduating but 250 a year. Now how do you lose? Now this has been going on since integration, Eddie.
That's right, since integration.
We got 600 ninth graders showing up at Meridian High School in the ninth grade and they only graduating 200 of them. And we got black leaders that don't understand, how do you lose 400 kids a year? Now, I want you to pay attention to this. Same thing when you said it. Said, if you understand that there's 250 kids in the 12th grade, go back to the 11th grade, you're probably going to have 350, maybe 4. Go back to the 10th grade, you're going to probably have 400 kids, maybe 5. Go back to the 9th grade, you got all 600 of them. How do we lose all those kids every year?
I can tell you what a young lady told me. She said that she didn't get the support. She was attacked.
See that? Okay.
She didn't get. They have a system set up so that by the time those 600 get to the high school, it's been
you're right.
It's a certain degree of attrition.
You ain't saying nothing wrong. But what I'm saying is, you asked me about how do we get the voters.
Yeah.
Just imagine we were producing 600 voters per year.
Well, okay, but
just imagine if you
they still can, but they don't have a desire for change. They don't have a care. So now let's get back to that desire. How do we get them to desire? It's like preaching to the choir. It's like preaching to the wall. It's like sounding off in what you say in the Bible when the thimble or whatever.
A tingling cymbal.
Yeah, tingling cymbal. It's what it's like with our children. But I can tell you one thing that they've done. We had a crack epidemic in the 80s and the 90s. But hold up now. They replaced that with marijuana. Marijuana now, this marijuana is not the kind of marijuana. We ain't talking about Acapulco Gold. We ain't talking about Sesame Red. They call it gas. They call it Gorilla Glue. This stuff got chemicals in it. Man, when they smoke that, it knocks them out. Ultimately, it takes them out. It takes them out of the. I think it has an aphrodisiac nature to it, meaning that they want to have sex so they can breed and keep making children to put them in that. We're gonna call it a prison complex. That's exactly where they're going. Right? So they're going to keep having babies. They're not going to be educated because the system is not educating them. And then also, how can anybody tell me what person can afford to smoke $10 worth of marijuana every hour? Every hour.
Messed up minded people.
But they do it, and so what they're doing, they're having sex.
Yeah, because I tell them
they're doing things that have sex. You know that.
Yeah,
and they stay
can't
high.
afford it. Yeah. To pay $10 for a blunt. I be like, man. And then it's like what, $8 for a pack of cigarettes. I said, I'm sorry, you afford to keep up your habit.
People.
Let's tell, and all of you out there that smoke blunts, look, you know what? I said, look, you need to stop smoking. You need somebody to stop smoking. So I didn't say it right, so I apologize for that. You're not smoking, you're consuming tobacco. Because cigars, made from tobacco leaves.
That's right.
Your Swissers is made from tobacco leaves.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is deadly. It's probably more deadly than a cigarette, you know.
Even
And
though
so,
the weed is from the earth, as they say.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
but not that
it's
way.
not natural.
Not that way.
Not
Not that way.
Yeah.
Not
The
that
weed
way.
he's talking about
Yeah.
had to be transported through
What-
dog sniffers,
Yeah.
through people who highly educated to be able to smell, understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And so now they start putting chemicals. They put this imbalance.
Yeah.
Cause I heard a guy try to tell me the other day that this is a natural herb. I'm like, hell
No,
no.
because when they
No.
smoke it for the first time, they are addicted, just like crack cocaine.
Yeah.
I'm talking about addicted to the point that they don't even want to smoke the other marijuana anymore. They just want this
Yeah,
particular
that
type of
particular
marijuana.
kind, yeah.
They want the gas. They want the
Yeah.
gas, and how about it's different degrees of gas.
Yeah,
They
That's
got
the scary
gas.
part.
Yeah, they
The
got
loud.
the loud. There's different degrees of loud. You got the loud.
That's the scary part about it, is that you all talking about a field that, and then they're coming to our classrooms, Eddie, said, with
And you
this
smell it.
mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
smell it on them before you even get in there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you be like, damn, dude, you come in here like this,
come on.
you ain't gonna do nothing. So get in the back,
Yeah.
go to sleep, or either just get in the back and be
exactly.
quiet.
Exactly.
But and I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. This is what we gotta do. This is what we're faced with. So.
Grassroots. I keep going back to that word now.
Grassroots, but we still got to come up with ideas in order to reach them. We got to get their attention, because we only had their attention for a moment.
Yeah.
We had their attention, like right now, you have my attention, I have yours,
Yeah,
and
right.
vice versa. But once they leave the room, it's gone. It's subsided.
I've always said you never build a house from the top down. You build it well from the ground.
So what
up.
we got to do is
You got to cut off an age bracket.
Yeah.
Just cut it off.
Yeah, and I want to mention two things. And me and you talked about this. I said, well, what does a perfect utopia look like in our community? You know, I always talk about economics. Like, you can only have so many teachers. You can only have so many plumbers. You can only have so many therapists. You can only have so many doctors.
That's right.
We have too many people and not enough jobs, right? So me and you always talk. I would ask, like, what would be the solution to that, or like, what do you think?
Education.
Well, hold on.
But I'm saying you can only have so many. You can only have so many.
You mentioned a mentor of yours named Billy Beal.
Yes, and you and Gray.
Billy,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But Billy Beal had a document that he had passed down to us. When I say us, the community. And that was the original plan written by T.J. Harris. It was written by Roger T. Smedley, who was the provost at Harris Junior College. That plan that he wrote, if you read it, you'll see exactly your answer to where you are.
Okay, well, I need you
Oh man, we've been trying to give it to everybody here. They don't want to see
well,
it.
let me get a copy of it.
Now, and I'm saying this, Gray, because you got to understand this. If we're in a situation where we're truly believing that the plan has already been written, it was written up under the L.O. Todd plan, and we never got it, and we still up under desegregation in 1965 is when it first came out, and this is 2020,
And we're
still up under a damn desegregation order, and they hiding the Todd plan. They hiding the plan. Said.
Oh, so the plan, you think that would be?
Well,
something-
we can discuss the plan a little bit.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
about
okay,
we go
yeah.
to a break? Dice Man, play us a song.
I'm finna get ready to leave.
You get ready to go ahead and say
I
what
want to say.
Go
It was something I was reading. I watched some on WTOK with the accident with the two guys was shooting or something at one another. And
Talking about the killing yesterday on
crashed
Fifth
into the
Street.
building.
On
Okay,
Fifth Street.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to this one person, and they was coming from this angle. Well, how can blacks talk about white on black crime and we doing this to ourselves? And then I was telling them, I said, none of it is right, none of it is good, none of it is acceptable. I said, all of it is bad.
That's right.
You know, everybody should be held accountable. And I like what you're doing. Like, you hold some of our elected officials accountable. You should. Everybody should. Nobody's above criticism. And everybody should be held accountable. That's just my opinion. That's my thoughts on that. Right. You know, black on black crime is not acceptable, and it shouldn't be acceptable.
That's right.
Just as where it's black on white, and white on black.
That's right.
And that's what I just wanted to.
And also, I like to just piggyback off that a little bit before we go. Understand that when we're doing anything, only thing we're trying to do is get equality. We're not trying to be superior to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So that in itself defines who we are and who they are.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be superior. When you're trying to be superior and you have privilege, then that in itself is racism and discrimination. But when you fight for equality and everybody attack you, and we're not the racists. The only thing we're trying to do is get our fair share of the pie.
Exactly.
When we come back from the break, I want to go into a little thing about the equality, and then you use the word utopia.
Yeah, utopia.
Yeah,
We're using the word.
That's an idea that'll never be.
Yeah,
a fact.
I know. Right?
Dice Man, take us to
educated black
to the
men,
middle.
right?
Play us a song, Dice Man. We'll come back and we're gonna open up those lines and read your comments.
Okay, man. I enjoyed you guys, man.
Folks, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast. And right now, we're going to be reading our comments, and we open up the phone lines to you. But I want to say this is that qualified immunity, that's what most police officers have just lost their mind because of that, because the Supreme Court said that because of their position, they're qualified for immunity. So they just shortened that qualified immunity. My daughter asked me today that did Sheriff Solly have deputy sheriff working for him that had killed a person in, I think, Clark County. And so, I didn't know. And so I did a little research. Randall, you already know who I called. I called Lolo. And Lolo said, sure. Harrington, I know she's going to give me the correct everything there in a few minutes. Right. Killed somebody named, I think, Sanders. Yeah, about 5 years. Jonathan Sanders about 5 years ago. How about this was the police officer? This is the police officer that I put a complaint against. And how about this guy here? You got a murderer here, and that's what's wrong when people commit crime. Look at John Griffin. I went back to work. When people commit crime in this community, especially against us, against a majority black community, it's not gonna work in Hoover. You know it ain't gonna have that. No. It's not gonna work in Trustville. I don't even think it'll work in Bessemer, Birmingham right now because we have the right leadership in both of those cities, and both of those are black mayors. Mm-hmm. But we have a city like this, and they talking about disbanding the police department, restructuring is what we're talking about and what we need. We need restructure, not on just the police department, but the sheriff department, and in America. And I think with this George Floyd thing, it's one of the things that's going to cause that to happen.
It gives you an opportunity for everybody to evaluate where you are. If we're going to be able to say that we live here, we got to have some accountability.
That's right.
Right now,
but I don't want to. If I gotta die to be a martyr, that I'm not an Arab. I can't do that. I just had to do that. Too bad. How you doing? Miss Too bad. How y'all doing out there? I just want to I do want to let you guys know that when I talk about what the church can do, Randall, I believe that in my heart. I want to talk about how do you get, and I got to talk about when I was in prison. When I was in prison, my goal was to get out. Yeah. My goal was to not become what they call institutionalized. That's right. So I had a goal and I wrote it down. So I had a plan A to get out of jail. Yeah. I'm talking about expediently, meaning fast as I could. Under plan A, I had subset A, B, and C. Under A, B, and C, I had subset 1, 2, and 3. You understand? In other words, if A failed, then 1, 2, and 3 kick in. The thing of it is that I had all these different subsets, but my overall goal was to get out of prison fast. How about A failed, but I had B to kick in case all of that failed? And how about B kicked in? I got out. I researched the law, and how I got out, Randall, was being accepted in the UAB. And how about they didn't even know about it? They had to go and look at the law, and sure enough, the law says you had to have a full-time job or be a full-time student. Yeah. How about I was that full-time student? Yeah. Yeah. And so part of that plan was they had these churches come to prisons every year, and where I was incarcerated at a Draper, and they did like a convent or something. Mm-hmm. How about my plan was to go to that? And I don't mind telling y'all folks, I was an agnostic then. I was a heathen. I wasn't no religious person. It was an opportunity for me to go and meet those people, those businessmen that want to come into prison and let their conscience feel better. Mm-hmm. And it did work. And so the man gave me a job. but the job went away because I didn't get out fast. He couldn't just keep holding that job for me. So, in other words, I'm saying this is that we have the money. There's no reason why we should be applying for grants. There's no way that Randall Jennings should be around here looking for money. We talking about our children, not his children. He's not Percy Bland. He's not doing this shit for his child or for somebody else. He's doing it for the black community. So churches, y'all gotta let that money go. Start spending that money. And I mean, and then a lot of this money they can get back on if they do certain things. They get grants. You get grants because they allow for you to do certain things. But we ain't asking you for grants. We saying that if you do that, if you spend this money out there, then if you filing taxes, you don't have to. But some churches do because they have businesses. I don't care. You got the money there. It ain't doing anything. Your members are dying and all this money in your bank. $1, $2, $3, and $400,000 in the bank, and our children around here, and folks ain't got nothing to eat. We gotta do things different, Randall. We gotta get the money from the church.
The metric that the church has established for its own existence is wrong. It's totally wrong.
Right.
They don't have no idea about. They read the scripture, and I done sent it to 1,000 people regarding Exodus 22 and James 1 and 27. Both of those talk about two segments of people: the widow.
You done call them Bible quotes out.
The widows.
Assume that some of us don't know them Bible quotes. So what is James? Whatever you say.
James. All right, I'm gonna start first. Exodus 22 says that you should take care of the widow and the fatherless. The Bible calls it orphans.
That's right.
James 1 and 27 says, if you want your religion to be pure and genuine, take care of the fatherless, orphans, and the widows. You want to pay for it? Go back to Deuteronomy and say every 3 years, every 3 years, bring all your tithe to the storehouse. They got this thing wrong about how to bring your tithe to the storehouse.
Yeah.
Every 3 years, they're supposed to bring all the tithe to the storehouse, and it says it will take care of the widow, the orphans, the foreigners, and the pastor.
That's right. That's right.
Now that's what the Bible
But
says.
they doing one thing. They taking care of the pastor.
They doing that one thing is taking care of the pastor.
And it shouldn't be the pastor. And then it shouldn't. It just shouldn't be. So I'm not trying to beat up on anyone, but I'm just telling the truth. We have the money. Let's spend it. Dice man, what about those comments that's over there?
Let's see what we got here. All right, we got Loretta Bennett says greetings.
What's up, Lo?
Hey, Lo.
Okay.
I was proud of Lo. I told you the other day, Lolo spoke on Saturday in eloquence.
Yeah. And spoke factual.
She did. Factual and eloquence.
All right. What we got here? What you got? All right. So we also got Ellen Franklin says, "What's up, bro? Hope." I'm sorry. That's not what she said. She said, "What's up, Hope?"
Oh, she wants you to call her. She wants you to call her, Randall. She told me to make sure that. But TC just came in here. I look like he been in a ditch with a weed eater or something.
All right. So let's get it. All right. Get back on track here. All right. Ellen Franklin says, "What's up, Hope, Dice, Randall, Cedric? Great to see you all."
Hello.
Okay. Crystal Harris says, "Good evening. This might be different." Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Throwing me off. Hold up. Crystal Harris says, "Good evening."
Hey, baby.
Ellen Franklin says, "This might be different, but normally when you start something wrong, it ends wrong. And this started wrong. I'm tired of just going with the plan, knowing they have mistreated us or our children."
So I want to know what is it that we're starting wrong. So you did say we started wrong. When you first said that, I thought you was talking about we started the program wrong. So I do want to know what it is that we started wrong.
With a black mayor, this black mayor, because he never understood the grassroots initiative of where we were. Anytime you go full steam ahead and try to run way down the road and you ain't taking nobody from that hometown that you represent with, he didn't know none of us, Greg.
That's
Eddie.
right.
And he ran full speed ahead down a road that don't nobody know where he's going.
Yeah.
But he didn't take none of us with him.
That's right. I didn't want to go with him.
Well, yes, you would do, because
No, not when it's corrupt.
You didn't want to go with him.
Yeah.
But you wanted to go with someone
That's
to change the climate of the community. And when you want to change the climate of the community, we all want to go, because all it is about changing the direction of where we're going. And that's what I find out more than anything else. And so I'm proud of the fact that Marie is well enough to understand that Mayor Bland started off on the wrong foot,
That's right.
and it's going to have to end in wrong, because he has no understanding where he's going.
I mean, it's just I don't understand how this community is not thriving. I had someone tell me today to work for the city of Meridian says a person there that does the exact same job that he does and says that his salary is capped at $23,000 and said this person does the exact same thing, but because he's with Person, because he's part of Person, and this individual is a part of that group along with Stacy and Darrell Thomas he makes 2 times more than him, meaning the calorie
The salary
cap is 23,000, but he's making about 46,000. And these are the kind of things that the governing authority needs to address. That they need to revisit that. But that's okay. You ain't got to do it. We're gonna change out the governing authority and the mayor in about another year, less than a year.
I'm gonna give him 6 months. If he makes it through 6 months, the next 6 months, so be it. Because Bland ain't got no idea where he's taking us.
Yeah.
No idea.
Do you know that he thinks he's untouchable? He got to. You know, I was talking about your program. I was saying that the money that you're trying to get with a grant, we have it already. With all the churches, you know, the church that you grew up in.
The initial plan.
Yeah.
Like when it comes down to the organization itself, before there was a Tomorrow's Fathers, before we even Derek and myself started Direct Effect, before that even happened, the first thing that I did was go to the pastors individually. Talk to them as individuals. Because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to the government or a business owner or whatever, or a company that will write the grant or give me the funds for the grant. I'm sorry, for the grant or whatnot. So I didn't want to do that. I went to the pastors first because that's what I saw coming up. I saw the churches, the church that I grew up in most definitely had an independent mindset. So we're going to have our own schools. We're going to have our own gardens. We're going to have our own everything, right? The only thing they didn't have at that particular time was banking.
But they got that now.
But now I believe they bank black, right?
Yeah.
So I started off with that as my mindset. Derek and myself never wanted to go to anybody and ask them for funds for our children, right? But when those people say can't help you, they don't show up. They don't step up. When they don't show up and they don't step up and they don't do what you're asking of them for our children, then you have to go another path.
I understand
if you're going to survive.
If you actually want to do the work.
Right.
So the way the grant piece came into play was because all of these other entities, except First New Hope District Baptist Church, I have to give them some credit, a lot of credit, because they allowed us to use their facility. They allowed us.
Kudos to them.
Yeah, they allowed us to use their facility. They stepped up that way. But when we talk about resources to do the work, then that's where we need other people to step up.
I just got to stop right there. Now, that's what Marie was talking about. I can't accept that, Marie. I can't accept that, TC. I can't accept that, Randall, because we have the money. You're giving these pastors too much power and too much credence. Let's take the power from them. See, I believe in getting them. We got the money. There's no way, if I have $10,000, that I'm not going to spend that $10,000 for my betterment on my children, and I'm going to come to you. That's unnatural as hell for me to come to you and ask you for money when we have it. We have this money. We just got to have a different mindset. We just got to refuse to take no from the answer, even if we have to file a lawsuit against that whole church. I don't care. It's a way of doing things. I don't care if we got to be radical with it. You understand what I'm saying? We have the money. That doesn't make any sense for us to have to get a grant for your program or for your program when we have the money for your program in our church.
Well, let's also speak on collaborations, right?
Right.
Now, so that's the word.
So let's also speak on collaborations, right? So the church may not fund Tomorrow's Fathers. The church may not fund something that Randall Jennings as an individual is doing. The church may not fund Direct Effect, me and Dice, right? They may not do that. But you may have organizations in this city that are getting funds from a church or from individuals or from whatever, right?
That's right.
We can collaborate and work together.
And that has not worked for you so far, but how about, I used to be the executive director of the Jane and Butler Drug and Alcohol Center right there on 5th Street. And how about, it came with strings attached, certain things I couldn't do. I had to do everything according to the rules of the Department of Health with the state of Mississippi, who's under the guidelines of the federal government. So when you go and get their money, as you say, collaborate with them, you got to follow their rules. There's certain policies and procedures. How about they lost funding and it took me to come in there to get funding back? So what you going to do then when you got everybody out there in the middle of the boat, but they done snatched your motor out of your boat and done took the gas from it? We got this money in our churches. We need to get it. I'm not going to accept it no other way. You're going to have that mindset. You're going to have it. And once you get that mindset, so you think, so it is. As simple as that, because your energy is that power, positive thinking. That if you think an idea, if you have an idea that you're going to get money from those churches, then only thing you're going to do is come up with ways every time they put up a rolling block. That song said, Lord, don't remove my mountain, but give me the strength to climb, go around it. Great hope going through it if you have to.
I believe in that ant method. You know, you put something in front of an ant, it's going to figure out how to get to whatever it's trying to get to. Up, over, around, under. It's going to do that, right? But my thing is, we can't keep waiting. There's a sense of urgency. So if the church has a certain mindset and they're not willing to do this, then a lot of times, like ourselves, we reach in our pockets over and over and over again. Okay, well, let's stop right there. Let me answer that. Now, the NAACP, in my opinion, is merely a token organization that has moved away from its original concept. That can once again be a viable organization. However, it's going to need a younger, more progressive membership. Get their ass out them damn churches and put a more progressive-minded person in there that's going to release the money. They ain't in there for a lifetime. Shoot, man, do like the CIA did. Pray for them to have a heart attack. God took the jawbone of an ass and slew 1,000 Philistines. Slay their ass.
Well, let me say this to you, because you're right and you're right. You can't disagree with where you all are. Right. And the mentality of your vivid understanding of where you want to go, don't lose it. But he's telling you one thing that's got to be going on in the 21st century. It's got to collaborate. We got to collaborate with each other.
I'm not saying that we don't. I'm saying let's get our money. Let's use our money for us.
Hold on, Eddie. I'm not saying that we don't have the money. We got the money, but we have no collaboration. This church won't work with that church. That won't work with that group. That won't work with this group. That won't work with no group. And the community's going to hell. Because they won't collaborate. Go to anybody else that's keeping their foot on your neck, and everybody's collaborating.
That's right. But we gotta remove those ministers that are standing in our way. Those very ministers that you talked to and said no, then what? How would we take over the NAACP? Okay, say how much does membership cost to be in there? No, stop. How much the membership is?
$30.
$30. How many members does it take to get that guy up out of there and put somebody in there like you?
70 bodies. I say 50 bodies.
So say somebody like me pay the membership for 50 people. To go into the NAACP, take it out, do the same thing in the church.
It's 300.
But look at what you just did.
Yeah, but
you just used numbers. Yeah. You just said let's get 50 people with the same mindset to come in. Let's collaborate.
I'm not saying don't. No. I'm not talking about don't collaborate. I'm saying remove those people that are standing in your way. That's the mountain. Go around and go through it, blow it down, get the jawbone of an ass and slay it. Right. Get it out your way.
Let me be the first to tell y'all and we talking about the NAACP right now.
We talking about all of that.
We talking about all of that. But we use because they had
put them all in a box.
They were given the lifeline. The NAACP has always been given the lifeline to take the lead in the community. We did that for a minute through Old Clark. Old Clark did not understand that he had people like Charles Young and the Young family, and the rest of them going against him.
I got to disagree with that because I read this with my own eyes. I read it with my own eyes when they first released the Sovereign Report. Roger Druid went and got it. He was among the first people in the land before they had a chance to what they call edact everything, black it out. Okay. I read it with my own eyes that Obed Clark was an informant for the Sovereign Commission that reported directly to Chief Gunn. So I ain't trying to hear that. So he was getting paid, and now they got 3 people that they talk about when you look at it. But there's a whole bunch of them that did that.
The NAACP mantra has not gone anywhere. The people are just gone. Oh, you got the wrong people in there.
It's still a token organization that hadn't done anything real. Didn't even do anything real back then.
You know who?
Because Sean Goodman Taylor was not well. Taylor was maybe.
But you know why I'm trying to use them as an example? I'm trying to use the NAACP as an example. Somebody, Gary Houston gonna bring them together?
No, Randall Jenny or John Harris or TC or Dice or
They
you know.
not
I'm just
they
using
not
that.
coming to us because here's the deal. First of all, we'll stand our own ground.
That's true.
And then the pastors that I'm talking about that we need to bring to us, they won't come to the table because first of all they're afraid.
Right.
And that scares
Afraid
me.
of what?
That's what I don't
That's
understand.
what we need to do with it. What we need to do with it. What we need to get because they're not doing anything viable in the community.
This is the solution to the whole problem. Do it yourself.
That's right.
Right.
We got to
If
do it.
you voting for somebody, man, you don't know what you're gonna get. Right?
Right.
They got rules and regulations and things
That's
they have
right.
to go through. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
In this community, there's a sense of urgency, man. Our children are dying.
That's right. And
Our
killing
young
it,
black
yeah.
men are failing in school. Our children, a lot of them are illiterate. Now, those are the
Economic-
children that we have to. Our economic, man,
I'm talking about this
the
here.
wealth gap in this city,
Yeah.
just in this city alone, is ridiculous.
That's right.
My thing is this, man. We can bump our guns. We can talk all we want to. Who is going to step up? And we put it out there 100 times. Who's going to step up? If you want to step up and do something, you want to give a donation, Cash App, send some money, some funds, email, whatever you need to do.
Get it done.
This show right here, if you want to send it here allocate the funds properly. Like, just do something.
Well, we
Right?
need to do
Everybody
something.
complaining and
Get it
talking about this, that, and the third, man. But if you have $1, you got 1,000 people in this city that
So
can
we
give
had-
up $1, we can get some work done.
So let's talk about money. How much money it take to get your program going?
13,000.
How much money does it take to get your?
About 27.
So what we need, that's $50,000. That's what we need,
Right.
and we got that. I know one church got that kind of money because the pastor bragged to me. He said, yeah, we got $97,000 in the bank. I make $900 a Sunday. Wow.
But yet again, it's not even about the money. It's not even about the pastor.
It's about our children.
It's about our mindset. It's about the mindset of the people that are in position that need to go.
That's right.
Your mindset is not for the people.
It's not.
Your
It's
mind. What
Hasn't
you're doing.
been for
what
quite a while.
you're doing is you.
But
sucking
now
the
we're
community
talking about
dry.
it. So what
Right.
we need to do is a cleansing. That's what
Don't
you're
suck
talking
the
about.
community dry,
Right.
man.
Yeah. And that's what they're doing.
And that's how we got on the NAACP as being a voice to bring them together. We got as Gary Houston being a voice. Gary Houston ain't gonna bring these people together.
No. Terrence Roberts ain't either.
Terrence Roberts ain't gonna bring.
Wendy Ray Clark ain't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And we just go on and on and on.
Right.
We name most of the
Right.
ministers.
You'll name most
They're not,
of them.
and they're not gonna do
So
it.
who is?
Right. Who is?
Like, we can talk about who isn't.
Well, I can tell you who.
But who
I can
is?
tell you some people that will. TC will. Randall Jennings will.
Right.
Marie Franklin will. I tell you what, Brother Gordon got a good heart, but you know, Two Belt just ain't finna do that. But he sure can build anything, and Miss Two Belt gonna drive him there
We
too.
have everything that we need in our community
right.
without having to go to these folks to
and
ask
that's
them
what
for
I'm
anything.
talking about.
The people
That's
that
what
are
I'm
in
talking about.
positions that's in the way, I agree. On one end, we need to be over here focused on how to get rid of them.
That's right.
And on this end, we need to be figuring out how we can do something for our children because there's a sense of urgency, man. We losing. Just the other day, we lost another young black man to violence.
And last night.
And then we don't even have to talk about the violence piece, man. Look at how many of our children been out of school since this
pandemic, right,
coronavirus or whatnot, right? I mean, these children are behind already.
Right.
That's right.
What are we gonna do now? Like,
That's right.
I'm already trying to.
I got two of his
I'm already
scholarships.
trying to
This
put.
kid that got killed last night, I got two of his scholarships left from junior colleges. Wanting this kid to come on there.
I'm already trying to figure out how we can have enough space to put these children in a room so we can teach them and educate them ourselves.
Right.
Like you can be doing the work behind the scenes without a camera.
That's right.
You know, nobody see me in front of a camera all
Right.
the time talking about this, that, and the third or on Facebook or whatnot. But the work is being done and we're affecting our children, man.
I can tell you that once I got a karate school back and made a difference in your life.
Right.
I have an impressive alumni, made a difference. But when I went to try to open up, they tell me you gotta have lights here, you gotta do this, do that. It's so many things that then look at all of our children that are falling by the wayside because I have not done that yet.
These churches that have life centers that you are not using, they are not bringing life into the community.
No.
Sure enough.
Okay?
No life.
It's programs that we can have and start our own small independent schools. It's enough retired school teachers here. It's enough retired military here. It's enough retired.
We have everything.
It's enough retired people to get a
Everything is
13 check. Look, that 13 check. If you want to donate something to help fund one of these programs, it don't have to be Tomorrow's Fathers.
That's right.
It could be anybody who's
Just
doing
contribute
anything,
to
and
the
you know,
collaboration of all
but you
people.
know that they're doing the work, right?
Just
let's get this thing done.
I like what you're saying. But I still advocate getting this money that we have stored. You know, we got a sack of money. We have so much money stored in their banks. We got to utilize that money for ourselves because that money is adverse to us. We're not using that money. They're using that money against us. That police officer that killed George Floyd was paid by our money.
2013, man, Dice.
What about it?
How many passes did we go to? 2013?
I already know.
I think we went to every single one of them, bro.
We went to
Everyone that we know.
2013, the ones
I
that
know.
we knew. We
So
went to
how do
them.
we got to get them up out of there?
So my thing is women and men in the community that don't have a title. You're not in the way. You're not in the position to do anything.
But they go to church and they can affect that minister because they can remove him. You have a deacon board. In my church, I am an incorporator and also I'm chairman of the board. So I have a lot of authority in that board on what take place in that church.
Right.
I'm just telling you the truth.
It's set up the right way, but it's not being distributed. It's not being utilized.
So, but you know, it wouldn't even be a problem if our pastor, if you came with a plan and you came to our pastor, you didn't go to Reverend Cole, you didn't come to Greater Mount Hermon Baptist Church because that's one of them little small churches.
I mean, we missed a few of them.
No, that ain't my point.
Yeah.
If you come to us, we gonna do all we can. I already know that. We gonna do what we can to help you. We don't have a lot of money. We can't brag about 97,000, but I promise you that we'll donate toward your program. We'll donate toward your program. Right. We'll do that. I know that.
So the people that are listening to this show right now, that are part of churches, if you can vouch for your church the same way, if you can vouch that they will give and help, then go to somebody in that church because you have a relationship with them. Go to somebody in that church and ask of them to help a program that's in this community trying to help our children. We are losing people.
And let me tell y'all something. Randall ain't doing this for your money. I'm not doing this for your money. This man is not doing this for your money. $13,000 will get a batting cage, a bat, a pitching machine, and fish going around there and all that, and help put the bases and all this stuff on the field by their church over there.
Right.
So this ain't money. It ain't, if his salary's in there, then he'll need about $113,000. I'm just telling you the truth. And the same with his program. If he was putting a salary in there, they would probably they would need an additional probably $100,000.
Exactly.
It's just this is just men
to do the work. This is just to do
just
the work.
men.
Well, first of all, it's to galvanize the kids.
That's right.
We said we really about our children. Then first of all, we got to know that they're walking the streets. They're wandering in the wilderness doing nothing.
Right.
And so we've got to figure out a way to try and help the Meridian Public School District, try and help the new chief, try and help them. I mean, granted, we know.
And another thing we got to do too, we got to get them off them damn TikToks and them computers. We got to get our children off there.
Yeah.
We got to.
Yeah.
Because
what you do instead of getting them off of it, you
redirect it.
You redirect them.
You redirect it because they're going to take us to another level.
Too bad I'm guilty.
They're going to take us to another level with these other things, right?
Right.
So,
and there's got to be a limit to the time that you're
if you can take that energy and show them what they should be looking at,
but you know,
what they should be using it for, it could take our community to another level because they're going to be the ones that step up and be the new leaders.
That's right.
Yeah, and we just got to take time out. What we got to do now, Marie, we have a program here and we have a program over here, Marie, and so you have these ideas. How about let's organize? Let's come up with getting money. What we need is about $50,000. Am I right?
That's right. That'll get us started.
40 will do it because the amount is 40, but we just saying 50 for incidentals. Yeah. But $40,000 that'll give you your 13 and your 27 to do what we got to get this going, Marie. So how about? We don't have to protest. Let's fix our children. Some of our children, they're dying. They're in prison. Some of them going to be, as George Bush say, collateral damage. But those that we can save, let's save them.
Man, I saw.
We're going to get back to them comments over there because I know they probably comment. Hey, that's one thing about it. This is our time. We on this, don't we, Dice?
That's it. Yeah. All right. And we're going to open those phone lines too, bro.
Yeah. You said the phone lines open?
Yeah, they're open, but after
you make
we finish this,
okay,
I'll open them up. I'm gonna flash it on the screen. Okay, so we had. I hope I didn't skip nobody. Let's go down a little bit here. All gas, no break. 81 says a lot of our people are lazy and choose to be uneducated if it doesn't directly affect them, they won't put any energy towards it.
That's true. That's true.
All of it directly affects them, whether they know it or not.
That's right.
Okay, all gas, no brakes. 81 says also the systematic effects of slavery continues to put us against each other. The educated and uneducated, the wealthy and the poor. Post-traumatic slave disorder is still in effect.
True, but
We get them in a room and we teach them and show them. We can shift all of that.
I like how you talk, but that's true.
Okay, Ellen Franklin says, Holt, I think we need to ask the church. I just think we need a plan B. Maybe she means don't need to ask the church. I just think we need a plan B. We cannot allow nothing to stop us.
I agree, because while we're waiting on the churches to do what they need to do,
They're not going to.
but my church will.
Yeah, well, I mean,
My church will, and
I'm
some
sorry,
churches
I'm,
will.
Lord, I'm
Some
sorry for
church,
putting them all
I
in
just can't look at it like that, because again, that's
I
negative
shouldn't-
thinking, that's negative energy. We cannot look at it. They're not going to.
Right.
I think that somebody like Marie and Brenda Gordon and Miss Toolbell and Miss Amy up there in Kokomo, wherever.
Don't leave Miss Jennings out, because
Leave
my
Miss Jennings
wife,
out.
my
Yeah.
wife has been very adamant about understanding
And I
what
think
can
that
be
there's,
done.
and even you, I think that we have enough people in our community with the
Right.
heart in the right place
Right.
that can reach those reverends that I think that you went to the preachers, and the preachers have too much power. They do not run the church. They do not. The deacon board does, or the board of deacons, or either the governing board. Just like person don't run anything. If they had not given him that chief of police, we wouldn't be going through the things with Rita Jacks that we're going through. So the governing authority in all your churches, we're asking that you come now and do something for our children, and not continue to put money in the bank, money that's not being used, but not for us, but for them.
Okay, all gas, no break. 81 says the church is not as strong as it was back in the civil rights era. It's not strong at all, actually.
I don't know how old is old. How old is he? How old is he?
I don't know. It
But
might
look,
be
but let me tell you this: all gas, no brakes. I was back there then. The churches didn't do diddly. They hated Martin Luther King. You Google it. They hated him with a passion. And some one dude turned his back on him. I think of the street. He wouldn't even allow. I think he moved his church because they named the street after him. They hated Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was not a Christian. For all of you out there that think he was not a Christian. He was a Unitarian. He knew that the Bible was not true. He believed in God. That's what he believed in. Him and his wife both were Unitarian. You can Google it, and they'll tell you that they were not Christian. They used the church as a way of promoting social means and social change. And we need to do that. We need to follow Martin Luther King's idea to this day. Grassroots. That's right.
And we see that now. We see a lot of people who will 20, 30 years from now be saying they walked with certain people and did certain things.
And did not.
And you know what?
They didn't do none of that.
And you know what I see a lot of the problem is too? They worried about the messenger and not the message.
Right.
Get
And
out
our
of
children are
your
suffering.
own way, man. These children, they brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, we've had children that been labeled special ed children, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, they can't learn or whatever. Mm-hmm. Man, they are absolutely brilliant. They just need somebody to love them, take time with them, teach them, show them, and guide them. Especially these young boys. Man, when we walk in the room and they see black men,
light comes on.
Man, it's like they light up. You know?
Light comes on,
look,
man. Yeah, that's what I'm
and
telling
you can tell them to sit down because they know that discipline is coming from a person that care about them.
Right.
Man, don't keep us away from our children.
I like to say this: is that Adderall and Ritalin are drugs to use to staunch our genius. See, our children are smart. Our children are very intelligent. And like my case, like saying hyperactive and all that, it's because our brain is always moving. We want to learn something new, something else, something different. So all we got to do, instead of giving our children medication, let's teach them something else to learn. Expose them to a new type of stimuli.
There's a new drug in the back of the brain called the endorphin.
Yeah.
It don't come on because we don't allow our children to get out there and do anything.
You have to they are very creative.
Yeah.
Dice man.
Okay, I'm going to run through a few of these and then let you kind of address them as a whole.
Okay.
We'll do it that way for the sake of time.
Okay.
For people watching. Okay, Virginia Banks says hi.
Hello, Virginia.
Crystal Harris says pastors are about themselves and their own pockets nowadays. Dolores Holt says, good to listen to four strong, educated black men. David Ruffin is still one of my favorite male singers. Mine too.
Mine too.
Mine too.
The Lords would change out one of those strong males with TC right here. Cedric left. We got another one here.
Antonia Owens says, great show. Joanne Holt says, greeting. And Q Neal says, great show.
Well, Tony, thank you. Joey, hey, sis, I love you. Well, thank you. Glad you're listening, Tony.
Okay.
Tony's my, this is my, me local, that's my, me local sponsor.
Now, what do that mean?
My crazy wife.
Okay. Western Lindemann says, in the midst of this national movement, it's especially important for white leftists, progressives, and even moderates to stop talking and start listening.
That's right.
That's right.
Pay attention.
That's our city council person there right there. May have a bright future, I think.
Grassroots will develop whatever you after. And I'm saying that, and I keep on, y'all hear me say that? Because it's
You
all
hear that,
about,
don't you, Rita Jack's Grassroots?
right, it's all about somebody that knows where we are.
Rita Jack's Mayor 2021. That's my hashtag.
Yeah, no, most of them know,
I
don't know
might just
where we
start
are.
want to knock on doors, grassroots. Say, look, you know, donate some funds to help somebody's children because, look, man, we losing our children.
That's right.
I know
say
for
this.
a fact that the people in my circle have given. The people in my circle have said, look, what do you need? We'll be there to help. This, that, and the third. Step up. You know, we'll feed them. People in our circle have done that. But it's so many other people in this community that have children
Right.
and don't have children, have grandchildren.
But what we can't do
Help
is,
save somebody else's children.
what
if you
we
don't have
cannot do is we can't give you 8,000 and you need 13. We can't give you 2,000 and you need 27 because tomorrow you're gonna still need 27 and that's pinch. So what we got to do is we got to come up with ways to give you guys the money you need. I have a pretty good contact group, and I know when I go to my people and ask them for money, they'll give out money.
And let me say this: it's a young lady, V-Law. She went to school. She went to school with me.
V-Law.
Yeah, V-Law. She went to school with me.
Hey,
man.
V-Law.
And she gives $2 a month to Tomorrow's Fathers every month
Right.
through PayPal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is the greatest feeling in the world. You talking about $2
Right.
for the last
What if we
2
get
years.
everybody? We can get like 10,000 people do that.
Man, look, man, that's the most
It's
beautiful
just an
thing in the
initiative
world.
that
The
he-
fact
right.
that she's
Understand.
committed
That's
enough
right. That's right.
to give what she can give
Yeah.
to our children.
Yeah. That is good.
Because people from here still love this place because they know what it was to them.
Right.
That's
The
right.
same reason I love it, the same reason you love it.
Yeah.
That's right.
We can go somewhere else and make way more money.
That's right.
We can go somewhere else and have a much productive lifestyle.
Guys, baseball is
All of
predominantly
us.
white,
Yeah.
and I stayed in it because I realized it had an avenue.
Right.
It has an avenue.
Dice fan.
Let's see here. Western Lindemann also says, thanks for advancing the discussion and allowing us the opportunity to expand our awareness.
Thank you.
Ellen Franklin says, the baseball program was started wrong because it wasn't designed with Meridian's children in
She
mind.
talking about the one that they
The original one.
gave the.
Yeah.
No, she's talking about the one, the new one, the one they just
yeah,
gave.
East Coast Sox.
Yeah, yeah, East
Yeah.
Coast Sox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a bunch of crap.
yeah.
I was out there today. You had to see it, man. There's a bunch of crap.
I'm not going out there. I'm not going to donate
There's a
one
bunch
penny
of
toward
crap,
that.
man.
Okay. Bubba One, maybe that's what that says when you take federal money, your hands are tied. Read the fine print.
That's
Percy
right.
Bland is a ripoff.
Well, I agree.
Bubba also says we need our people to open up their minds to progression and not hold on to a hard heart to the police. There are bad apples in every part of our daily life. Stand strong and be a true black man.
I understand what he's saying is that we shouldn't harden ourselves against all police officers.
Don't put them all
there's
in the same
yeah,
category.
Yeah, but
It's not fair.
It's not fair, and I don't do that. I have a lot of respect for Lieutenant Jacks. I have a lot of respect for Van. Just the name Chris Scott. I have a lot of respect for and Bedford. Have a lot of respect for him. it's another one down there too. That's gonna have a lot of respect for him too. But it's a lot of them that I do. But it's some down there that I know that they're corrupt and they need not to be a part of any law enforcement organization.
Okay, and last but not least, Bubba says if you want a true police chief that would clean the department up, James Sharp and Rita Jack staying under the protection of the civil service as assistant chief.
That's right.
Yeah. And shout out to Kim Franklin in Kokomo and Mike Moore, wherever you at, man. We ain't heard from you, bro. We just need to know where you at.
I think he's scared to call in, Mike. I know better than that.
And the phone lines are open. You got 10 minutes to get in, people.
Yeah, 10 minutes to get in. So I just really enjoyed this today. I gotta tell you, man, it's like y'all made my brain work today. No, you didn't. I like being around strong black men, intelligent black men, and black men and women that love their community and want to make a difference.
I keep using the word grassroots because it's all about, and I did the research on it and understanding how it established itself, it established a whole other presence in your community. If you stop running away from people, you just said Meridian has the people.
That's right.
But they got, and the grassroots people are here, but Mayor Bland won't use any of them.
That's right.
He's never tried to use any of us. And now he's got to struggle because he's trying to build something without the nuclear of what it's going to take.
Well, I want to say this about the city of Meridian, kind of deviating a little bit, getting a little bit off what we've been talking about, a little bit off subject, is that, I know y'all probably noticed too when you go around Meridian, you see water coming up out of the ground. Man, I tell you, our water structure, it just needs to be redone. But I want to say this to the governing authority, don't do it under this man administration. Let's get this man up out of here and let's fix our city. I don't want to do anything that he could brag about or claim that he did. I don't care, even if we done did with this water coming up out of the ground this long, we can deal with it for another year. If we done dealt with his, without the streets being paved for this long, we can do so for another year. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to do anything to promote this administration. I want this administration to go. And I just, like Randall said, if he can make this 6 months, then if he can make it through this 6 months. And what I mean by that, I don't know what Randall mean. If you can make it, we ain't talking about killing. We talking about if you can make it without going to jail, without being arrested by the FBI. And that's sad. This is our first black mayor. And look at what Rita Jack's got to go through. And we got... I'm talking about what those officers went through in 1989, what Sudbury went through in the 5th, and Aaron Thompson went through in the 60s and 70s. Right. We're going through this in 2020, and the people that are standing there doing it with black people. Kermit Kendricks is black. Eddie Kelly is, well, black. I hate to say that. Now I'm quit picking on Eddie Kelly, but he's a black man. Percy Bland is black, and here she's being discriminated against. She's being because she's a woman, she's being mistreated. And Joseph Denson did an immaculate job, but he did not bring out the fact that the men that are put in position over her are white men. Not just men, not just Rita Jack's been put over. This needs to be a class action type thing because you got Van and Chris Scott also they done promoted white men over them. So you can't charge with sexism and you can't charge with discrimination. It's sexism. You can't charge them with sexism, but it's discrimination. It's racism when you put a white person over a black person that's more qualified than them. And these are black people are doing that at TC, man. That's a travesty. That is sad. That is really, really bad. There's no way they can clean that up.
Look, at almost every turn in this community, man, we in trouble.
Yeah.
But
because he's playing a game now.
But you most definitely don't want to lose the next couple of generations to this same nonsense, man.
All right. I'm almost in dire straits. I'm already at the length of my cable toe. I'm just telling you the truth. And I'm not God. I get tired. But even God get mad. If I'm made in God's image. If I'm made in God's image, he said we're made in God's image. God had, Moses wasn't that articulate, so he gave him his brother. He used Samson for his strength. He used David also for his wisdom and his strength. When God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, that's the kind of fire I got in me. That's what I got in me. I'm forgiving, but I'm fiery.
I won't let you know what I got in me.
I probably know what you got in you.
I want to say this, and I'm proud of you, man, because
I'll
first of
show
all,
you better than I can
I
tell you.
didn't know how podcasts go because I'm from the old school area, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
But to see where we are today, and to see the fact that you and Lolo and others who have always been able to keep our initiative out front.
Right.
We don't have the leadership. I asked one of our icons, Mr. Roscoe Jones, why did you leave the city of Meridian and y'all didn't leave us any leadership in place that would have been able to choose us to come back home? Me, Vicky Hood, Vicky Ball, Kathy Barfield, it's so many, even Kermit.
Right.
Kermit had no business being over Alabama if he felt like he could have come home.
But he ain't got no business in Mississippi now.
Well, right. He came home.
Not doing what he doing.
He came and showed us. Now, and I got some stories about his dad because his dad was gave me my first teaching job. What I'm sharing with you is that none of us should have had to fight this hard to come home.
That's right.
We should have had to fight this hard.
And all this talent here and this hurting our children, so you got people that don't care.
Boy can't even come back to Meridian.
I know, isn't that sad? Well, folks, I want to thank y'all for listening in. Is there anything you want to say, TC, before we close out?
Hey, let's figure out a way to do something, man.
Yeah.
Use this media to help us all, man. I mean, let's establish something, man. This channel is a great channel, great information. If you ever want to speak about anything, like he says, he has an email address. I mean, email him. You know, ask questions, whatever. Like, you don't have to stay away because we don't have our own platform. So let's use this platform as often as we possibly can. Thank you for having us.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Randall?
Same here, man. Just glad to be a part of it.
I got to say this today, you know, I put the money up, but the Dice Man built this. Dice Man built the website, so, I mean, he put this together. He designed it, the cameras and everything that you see here. He had this vision for WNBN, but they didn't utilize it. And we got to start doing this in our community. We got to start giving our younger people a chance, and we have not been doing that. But how about he did this, and I'm very proud of him and what he did right here. Man, I have a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of respect for his abilities and his genius. And we have that in our community, and we got to capitalize upon that.
Please take advantage of it. Use me.
Yeah, and
but, you know, it's gonna have to be in the proper form because I'm not taking nothing. No payoffs, no any of that, man.
And that's the same with me.
Valuable,
that's right.
Way more valuable than $1.
That's right.
Yeah.
I tucked my tail, went to jail 3 times.
Sure did.
The longest time up under this administration right here, because I have a 501c3. I don't take money from anything when it comes to. I have a family that have been married 35 years. I got 7 children, 15 grandchildren. I am not trying to go to jail at my age, brother.
Yeah.
But I was going to jail to hide something from the devil who was trying to steal something from me, which is my 501c3, and I wasn't going for it. So let's go do what we got to do. I came home to try and fix this.
Well, you need a 501c if you're gonna get their money.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna use our money, you don't need a 501c.
That's why I'm
You
going
need
more
that.
proud.
You need
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank y'all for listening in and everything, and I want to say this is that I didn't talk about some of the things that this was a very good impromptu show. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the Dice Man. I appreciate you, Rhonda. Appreciate you for stopping in and saying, hold up, man. Hold on before you go. Let me get my children up in here. Ray, you and Coda, come here. All right, come on. We've been talking about y'all all this time. Come on. Hurry. Come on here. Come on in. You come on in, Coda. This is my daughter, Araya Holt. This is what we're talking about. I love my children. I'm hands-on. Come here, Coda. Now, we call him Coda, but his name is Connor Holt. Connor Mir Holt. So, say hey to the people. Look in the camera. Say, hey, this is my son. This is what it's all about. Both of these children here made honor roll.
Amen.
Right. And I want to thank y'all for listening. Dice Man, take us home.